Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and we welcome you to another program here today. And thanks for joining us, and always fun. Okay, let's say hello to a few friends here as you get your notifications. And for our live broadcast, Brahim, I don't know how you do it, but you're number one. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. I'm going to be talking, Rosalinda, about Niagara Falls this morning. Michael from Norland. Mary, Ann, Moncton, New Brunswick. Good morning. Jerry, Nouveau Brunswick. And Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick. Nick from our staff. Kadachu, how are you? Jeanette from our staff. Good morning. Anne, St. Catharines. Yolande, bonjour. Marlene, Newfoundland. Elaine from Newfoundland. Let's go out west. Sharon in Kansas. Deneen, good morning. Evelyn, Windsor. And Carol, good morning. And you see Kevin? I don't see Kevin. There's Kevin. Oshawa. Good morning, Kev. Sunny Oshawa. Terry. Keith. Oh, how are you, Keith? Bell River. There's Wendy from Markham. Nicole from Goulet River. Janice, Brampton. Connie, good morning from the Laurentians. Beautiful. Patricia from Calgary. Linda, good morning. Every Linda I know I like. Diane. And Wendy from BC. Laurie, Cambridge. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Carol, Wasaga Beach. Paulina, good morning. Francis, good morning. And Catherine, good morning. Sherry, I want to sing. There's Doc McEwen. West Tennessee, Cecilia, Sue, good morning. Rita and Sue, good morning from Manitoulin Island. And Carol Ann, hello from, I think it was Newfoundland. Donna, Carrie, couple of more guys. Darlene from South Carolina. Mary from PEI. Sheila, good morning. Sudbury. Roma, how is you? And Dorita from Manitoba. Gloria. And you know what? I've talked to so many people over the years. Nativity, good morning, Wanda. I don't mean to miss any of you, honest. Carol and Crystal, Lorraine, British Columbia. Yeah, Terry in Long Island. David, Ridgeway. And Peggy from Windsor. I meet so many people. Madeline, how are you? From Nikina, Etta, Leela, Irene, oh, I want to sing again. And Rita from Alder Grove, British Columbia, Denise. Okay, guys, John, Elgin, Illinois. You guys and Sue, good morning. Cheryl, West Virginia. Man, I wish they'd let me sing. Okay. Now, like I said, I meet so many folks that watch us, and I don't see their names because they don't say hello. And sometimes they say hello, and I miss them anyways. But no, it's serious, guys. There's so many that come on, and we don't acknowledge them, and we want to acknowledge them, okay? Thank you so much for being a big part of our program. And, guys, okay, if you can come on live, it's always appreciated. But you know what? You can share this afterwards with your friends, and many do. By the end of the day, we're up to about 3,000 or 4,000 views. And then on the podcast, we're touching 1.5 million downloads. That's a very successful podcast. So we thank you guys for that. okay? And if you can join us, I know there's, sometimes 300 or 400 with us in the morning, but, it's not always possible that people join us live. Okay, here we go. I'm going to talk to you today about Niagara Falls. Now, what do we call Niagara Falls? What do we call your kidneys? Niagara Falls, right? Okay. The kidneys of Canada are Niagara Falls, and of course, Niagara Falls, USA. Have you been to Niagara Falls? If you haven't, pretty spectacular. I never get tired of going to Niagara Falls. I just don't. I love watching that amount of water go down those falls. It's funny, never gets turned off. It's just incredible. Okay, now here's the story, guys. Here's the study. And I'm a why guy, so we'll go into the why. Now, here's what it is. 30 years ago, here's the article. 30 years ago, kidney stones were rare. 30 years ago, where kidney stones were rare, and let me just read this, okay, because I have the study, hold on, right in front of me. 30 years ago, kidney stones were considered a disease of the middle-aged white man. Kidney stones are rising among children and teens, especially girls, research shows. Okay? So I want to get into that, how to protect your kidneys. By the way, this article also talked about young people have now become old. That was sort of the underlying headline. Young people, they're young chronologically, but they've become old biologically. Okay? Young people are young chronologically by age, but have aged biologically big time. Now, we're going to get into why. And we're going to start with the kidneys, because the top thing on this study was the amount of kidney stones that young people are developing. And I know why. They're not even saying why. The article doesn't touch on it. I'm going to tell you why. And I know why. And I've been screaming for a long time, like John the Baptist in the wilderness, about what is happening today. Okay? What is happening today? Why? Here we are in 2023, and as this article suggests, young people are getting old fast biologically. One of the organs that is being damaged is kidneys. Okay? And now we want to answer the why. Why is that happening? Well, young people have been duped. Okay? They've been duped. They've been fooled. I talked to a young person the other day. Okay? And look, if they listen, Linda, listen. But if they don't listen and their eyes glass over, I just don't waste my breath. I'm not into, you know what I do enjoy is a good argument once in a while. A debate. But if people don't listen, I just, I zip it. Because I realize very quickly whether I have an audience or not. Okay? And you're rarely a prophet. You're rarely a prophet in your hometown or amongst your family or even amongst friends a lot of times. You're not a prophet. They're not listening. And then when they don't, when it comes to health, I just zip it. I don't talk to them about it because if they don't ask, if they're not sincere in, hey, doc, what do you think I should do? I mean, if people come at me like that, I am going to give them both barrels. But if not, well, you know what? Hey, that's all right. It's a free country, and you're free to believe whatever you think is right. Okay? So, why? Let's start with kidneys. Why are we seeing so much of an increase in girls especially when it comes to kidney stones? This is unheard of. Well, first of all, kidney stones should be nothing but rare. But they're not rare anymore. And I know why. And they're not rare anymore amongst young people. And I know why. Let me answer why. Okay? Now, often I've said this. God wanted you to eat fruit, okay? Not drink it. God wanted you to eat vegetables and not drink it. Okay? You've heard me say that. Okay? You're meant to eat it, not drink it. And here's what's happening with young people. I've told you this story, well, not a story, but what my experience is. When I go to a mall, okay, and I see young people, they're all lined up at these fruit, right, juices. They're lined up at the mall for the juice. Vegetable or fruit. I want to scream. They have no idea how unhealthy that is. Now, fructose, when you drink fructose, one organ that really gets lambasted is your liver. We know that because fructose takes a beeline to the liver, fatty liver. When do we see a huge increase in fatty liver? Especially amongst young people. Fatty liver, listen, in the 70s, you didn't have fatty. There was cirrhosis of the liver. Fatty liver? What's that? Okay? Now it is an epidemic, big time. One of the biggest reasons is fructose. These kids drinking fructose, either in a soda, high fructose corn syrup. Remember, Coke and Pepsi switched in 84? They switched their sugar. They switched to what they thought was a healthy sugar. They were lied to. High fructose corn syrup. It's a liquid. Even though it's solid, it's liquid. And it goes directly to the liver, damages the liver. It fills the liver up with fat. Instantly. And guys, I've been consistent. I've been screaming about that. High fructose corn syrup. Now, the same fructose damages not only the liver, but the kidney. The kidneys. that same fructose is terrible for the kidneys. So when you're drinking a fruit juice, it's terrible. Now I allow you, okay, to have a few berries in a smoothie. You can do that. Not many, some, very few, just to give it a nice little taste, okay? In Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. You have a few, but not many. You don't want too much fructose there. You're meant to eat fruit, not drink it. Now, let me make another point. Vegetables, okay? Vegetables, you got to be careful, but especially if you drink it. Don't drink green smoothies. Dr. Martin, they're so good for you. I said, who said? Who told you they're good for you? Well, my friends. Yeah, your vegetarian friends, your vegan friends. The thing is, the problem with those smoothies, especially, when you drink them, they are 100-fold full of oxalates. Guess what kidney stones are? Okay, well, there's two types of kidney stones. 75% of all kidney stones are oxalates. They're oxalates. You know what oxalates are? Glass. Like little teeny weeny glass inside the kidney. Anyone here ever had a kidney stone? Put your hand up if you've ever had a kidney stone. What do they say in medical textbooks? Kidney stones is like having a baby, except you don't get a baby at the end. You get a teensy-weensy little stone. And you go, how can something that small be so stinking sore? How can something that small give you so much pain? Because it goes through a little wee duct, a little wee ureter out of the kidney, and when it gets caught in there, it tears. And that little glass cuts you up, and it ain't no fun. Right? Kidney stones, like having a baby, but you get no baby at the end. Now, the other type of stone is called what? Uric acid. 75% are oxalates. When you insist on drinking greens, even eating, like, you know, the list, I'll give you the list of the worst foods. Almonds. Somebody asked me the other day on Question and Answer Friday, what do I think of chia seeds? I don't like them. Not really. You're not a chipmunk. You're not a squirrel. Okay? Now, what kind of seed do I like? Flax seeds. Flax seeds don't give you oxalates, but chia seeds do. And that's why I'm not big on them, guys. They're high in oxalates. Spinach. Okay? Spinach gets caught in your teeth. Gets caught in your gut too. It'll give you diverticulosis. And it'll get caught in your kidneys too, as oxalates. Guys, there's a reason, you know, for my madness. Yes. There's a reason that I talk like that. You guys think, you know what, he just doesn't like fruits and vegetables. That's not true. but you don't live on them. Because today, the mantra, today, the narrative is red meat bad, red meat cholesterol, eggs limit, butter be careful, and live on fruits and vegetables. Millions and millions of people do because they've been duped. And today, what do we see? Oh, young people who are young chronologically are old biologically, and they're damaging their kidneys. Never mind the liver. And my friend, I'm going to tell you something. You need your liver and you need your kidneys to work properly. This is the biggest reason it's a duping. It's the fooling of North America. And when the food industry does it, they aim at kids. They aim at kids. Oh, you gotta have your cereal, you gotta have your fiber, you gotta have, and watch your red meat. That'll give you colorectal cancer. No, it won't. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Kale. Somebody asked me a little bit. How do you say cacoa? Coca, not. I always get this wrong. Guys, you put stuff into your smoothie. Be careful with that. You're better off with cream, heavy cream. Heavy cream. Make yourself the Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothies. And if you're going to put some seed, put a little bit of flax seed. Why is that? Because of lignans. They protect your especially ladies, breast cancer, and men, prostate cancer. Why? It knocks down the estrogen. It knocks down the estrogen. Okay. 30 years ago, kidney stones were rare. Why is it today we see so much of it? I spent some time with Sun, Steak, and Steel in that book talking about this too, by the way. How do we protect our kidneys? Okay, so let's do a little bit while we're on Niagara Falls. How do you protect your kidneys? The number one thing? Water. Niagara Falls, water. Your kidneys, water. People walk around. I wish we had a little red light on our head that would go off to tell you were dehydrated. Today, it is a major factor in kidney health. Dehydration. Only water flushes those kidneys. Nothing else flushes your kidney. Don't let anybody tell you that you can flush your kidneys any other way than to drink water. H2O. Exactly what you see at Niagara Falls. Flush. Flush. Cut out your sugar. Sugar is extremely, we talked about high fructose corn syrup, but remember how your kidneys work, okay? One of them is you flush. The other thing, kidneys, is really important is blood supply. Blood supply. Those little capillaries. And sugar damages those things. If you don't believe me, ask a diabetic. Why do diabetics have so much trouble with their kidneys? It's called sugar destroys blood vessels. And your kidneys, every organ in your body, but especially your eyeballs and your kidneys, rely on circulation. Blood supply. Water, eliminate. Not moderate, eliminate sugar. You want to protect your kidneys, do that. Very important for that to happen. Okay? And use some salt. Your kidneys need salt. Okay? I know doctors tell you to cut out salt. Don't do that. Okay? Now don't use table salt. And one of the problems is when you get those crappy carbohydrates in the middle aisles of your grocery store. Not only are they made with bad oils, they're not even, oils made for your car. Very inflammatory. That damages the kidneys too, but it's the salt they put in there. They put the cheap, stripped away. It's not real salt. Use real salt that has minerals, trace minerals in it. That's why I like Himalayan salt. I like kosher, Celtic salt, that kind of thing. The real salt that hasn't been denatured, that hasn't been stripped away of all their minerals. Your kidneys will thank you. So will everything else, but your kidneys will thank you. You're not getting, here's what's going to save your kidneys. Just the opposite of what is out there. You know what saves your kidneys? Protein. You know what kills your kidneys? Carbs. You got it? What saves your kidneys? Oh, my doctor said I got to cut down on my protein. I'm eating too much protein. How do you know that? Well, my doctor said I got protein in the urine. Yeah, you get protein in the urine because you got kidney stress. And that happens when you're eating too many sugars, too many carbohydrates. Protein is not because you're eating protein, now you're going to pee out protein. That doesn't work like that. When you're eating carbs, you pee out protein in your urine. If I saw protein in the urine, I used to turn to my patients and I would put my finger right here like this. And I go, you're a carbaholic. You're going to be a diabetic. Your kidneys are stressed. And if I looked at a blood test and I saw that their creatine was low or high, I said, you got kidney stress. You're going to damage those kidneys. I said, change your diet. Start drinking more water with salt, a pinch. You're dehydrated. And watch your blood supply to the kidneys. Cut out a high fructose corn syrup. Lay off the smoothies. Unless it's Dr. Martin's perfect smoothie, don't touch it. Change your smoothie. You want to protect those kidneys. Eat more protein, not less, more. What? Yeah. You know what your kidneys love? Steak. You know what your kidneys love? Butter. You know what your kidneys love? Eggs. You know what your kidneys love? Cheese. Yeah. Don't ditch dairy. Switch it. And be careful. Be careful. A lot of times, again, I would see kidney stress. And then you would, my patients would be, I did questionnaires. So, I had one out here the other day. Let me just see if I can find it. Oh, my desk. I have it here somewhere. The questionnaire I used to give my patients. You couldn't see me in the office unless you filled out the questionnaire. And one of the questions was, tell me about the medication you're on. List them. And then I had another question. What over-the-counter meds are you taking? Like Tylenol, like Advil, like aspirin. You get them over the counter and, well, they must be safe. Boy, oh boy, are they ever hard on the kidneys. Are they ever hard on the kidneys? Non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. NSAIDs. Man, oh man, those are hard on the kidneys. Every year I was reading in the States, like, few million people in Canada, 300,000 or 400,000 people are hospitalized. Over-the-counter medications, and the first thing they damage is kidneys. And sometimes that damage can be permanent. Destroying the function of the kidneys. Okay, so, you know what to do. Protect those kidneys. Very, very important. You want them to last a lifetime. A lifetime. Okay, so you know what to do. Keep your kidneys healthy. Start with water. How much water every day, guys? What's the sweet spot for your kidneys? What's the sweet spot? 64 ounces for my American friends. And what is it? It's 64 ounces, right? And 2 liters for my Canadian friends. Okay? 2 liters of vata. And nothing else is water. Nothing else is water. Okay? So make sure you do those things, guys. And you look at young people today. And I got an article, hold on, it comes right on the heels of this one. I'm just going to look at it. Oh, yeah. Young people are becoming old biologically. I talked to you about that, but they're talking about the increase not only in kidney stones, and maybe I'll touch on this tomorrow. Young people, increase in strokes. Young women, increase in heart attacks, cancer rates, colorectal cancer, rates of diabetes, low testosterone in men, like all young people disorders that should never be. We've been duped. Young people have been duped. I feel sorry for them. They get propaganda at school about animal products. It's terrible. Terrible stuff. Anyway, sometimes I get a righteous anger, It's righteous. The Bible tells me not to let anger, go overnight. Okay, so I have to talk to myself. Ooh, get frustrated. Okay, guys, question and answer Friday, remember, okay? And we'll, if you haven't got our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, the bestseller in Canada, okay? And in the United States, doing really well, Sun, Steak, and Steel, and Sleep, and Coffee. Those chapters I have, and Salt. Okay? We had a lot of S's. Okay, guys, send your questions in. Don't be shy. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.